You're probably wondering why this guitar has no pickups. Well, in this video, we're going to find out why. My name's Jennison and I'm thinking about guitar, and today we're taking a look at a new guitar from our friends at Cream T. This is the Polaris from their new LT line of guitars, and it's the most affordable Cream T guitar that has been made to date. A quick disclosure, Cream T are sponsoring this video and have provided this instrument for us to take a look at, but as per usual, all of the opinions will remain our own, and Cream T don't get any input on what goes into this video, so you can rest assured that my thoughts will remain my own, but I'll try and keep this more informative rather than opining too much about this guitar, so you can make your own mind up about whether this is something that you'd be interested in getting hold of. So a quick word on Cream T and where you might know them. You're probably familiar with Cream T for two things. First of all, being extremely high-end boutique British built guitars, and also for featuring the Guitar X pickup swapping system. I've got a whole little suite of pickups down here, including, in this particular case, a set of Seymour Duncan humbuckers and a humbucker-sized P90. It kind of represents, I guess, an update on how pickups, I think, should be installed into a guitar. Now, I am not a luthier, so I can't speak to the way this might affect other aspects of a guitar's build, but for me, this seems like a no-brainer. Now, in essence, these pickups are mounted onto these little handy mounting plates, which allow you to clip the pickups directly into the guitar, which you would have seen me doing in the intro jam, via the back, and they slot straight in, and there's an electrical connection that is made just by clamping the pickup into place. It goes in with magnets, so it's not going to fall out, it's not going to shake out in a gig situation, you're not going to be able to knock it out unless you really give it some stick, and even then, it's going to snap straight back in. You don't need to tighten down a clamp or any of that stuff, you just pull them out, or you let them slot back in, let the magnets do their work, and then you can configure your pickups to your heart's desire. So this particular guitar is the middle of the 3 spec that's offered, and this is the Seymour Duncan package. So all of the guitars come with one of these humbucker sized P90s, and they also come with, in this case, the Seymour Duncan spec. We have a Duncan Jazz for the neck and a JB for the bridge. So we can take our JB, which is the intro configuration that we wound up with, we can slot that back into the guitar using the Guitar X pickup swapping system, and it goes in literally as simply as that. Now, before we go too far into the spec on this guitar, which we will get into in just a second, let's take a listen to some of the tones it can provide. And for this, what we'll be doing is using some combination, I'll flash the details on the screen, of the Jazz either in the neck or the bridge position, the P90 either in the neck or bridge position, and the JB, if we use the JB, it will only be in the bridge position. Let's take a look at a smattering of tones, and then we'll come back and talk more about the spec. So now we've had a chance to hear the Polaris LT in action, let's talk more about the specifications, and we are going to begin by taking a close look at the headstock. So the first thing to observe about the headstock is we have a matching paint job on the front of the headstock and on the guitar's body. Now this is a new thing for Cream T because these guitars usually feature flamed maple tops or figured maple tops, but in this case we have this very cool matching paint job. Cream T logo on the front, one single roller string tree, which is going to improve tuning stability. Even though we don't have a tremolo, it's going to improve tuning stability with big bends and all that sort of stuff. If we flip it over, we can get a good look at the roasted maple neck, which is a really nice touch at this price point. We're seeing roasted maple on more and more guitars at these lower price tiers, but it is always nice to see. We've got a handwritten serial number, 609 tuners, and a QC pass sticker to denote that this guitar has passed quality control, which is handled by the same team in the UK that quality control all of the Cream T instruments. So you know that even though this guitar is overseas built, it's going to have been overseen and checked over by the team that handle the quality control for Cream T. So if you're familiar with the way Cream T guitars feel, this guitar is going to be no different, despite the fact that it is much more affordable. Now the neck profile itself I would call a shallow C under my hand with a medium jumbo fret profile. It's a very comfortable neck, and it's not quite on the point of being shredder slim, but it is definitely a thin, wide feeling neck. So if you're after a boat style Strat neck, this might not be the one for you, but I think it is super comfortable and very versatile as well. Now another thing to point out here is the fret profile, which to me feels like a medium jumbo. It's a nice in between fret wire where it isn't super huge. Myself, I prefer a very tall fret profile, but this guitar still feels very easy to play, and it comes set up from the factory with a very comfy action, the sort of action that I would typically dial into this guitar, so there's no kind of big resistance going on here. Now the body is poplar in this S style shape, and you are free to opine to yourself as to whether poplar is make or break on the guitar's tone, or whether it makes no difference at all, or whether it's somewhere in between. What I will say is that it's very lightweight, it keeps the guitar balanced either on this leg or this leg, and also on a strap, and for me that's kind of important as a working player, and this very much feels to me like a working player's guitar. It's certainly not a display instrument with crazy figure tops or anything. This is a gigging musician's guitar very much, and I'm a big fan of that because I'm a gigging musician. I'm going to put some knocks on it. I think this solid finish would look really nice with a little bit of ding going on, as opposed to the more fancy tops that are available on the more high-end models. Now once again, the weight is low here, down to both the poplar body but also down to the gaping holes that are in the back of this guitar. Now this is the crazy trick that this guitar has up its sleeve that we mentioned previously, which is the Guitar X pickup system. Now these pickups are hot swappable, which means you can literally swap them out mid-gig should you desire to. Now I swapped them out mid-solo in that intro jam, which admittedly is a touch excessive. You're unlikely to do that, but if you were playing, say for example, a hard rock song that warranted having a JB in the bridge, let's say, and we wanted to slot that in there, and then you're chugging away on your JB, and then for the next song you need a PAF style pickup, you could yank this out, very simple, and quickly in the song break, while the band leader is talking to the audience or berating the band, depending upon what kind of band leader you've got, you can slot that back in and you are literally ready to go. There's no soldering, there's no fancy screws or any of that stuff. It literally hot swaps in and out with magnets, which is wild. Now each guitar comes with a Guitar X P90 and some combination of humbuckers depending upon which spec you go for. This is the middle spec, which features Seymour Duncan pickups. You can also take these little mounts and mount your own pickups to it. So if you have your own favorite set of pickups, maybe you're a bare knuckle person or a Damasio person or whoever, you can take this same system, wire your pickups into this, and hot swap them in the same way that you would do with any of the preloaded Guitar X pickups. So you don't need to buy special pickups, you can wire them in yourself, but of course you can buy any of the wide range of Guitar X compatible pickups that are available direct from Cream T, and any of the models from the more high-end guitars, such as say for example the single coils that are available, they will also fit into this guitar. It is literally the same technology, there's no compromise there, it's just a question of how much you want to spend on the actual guitar itself. Other features to be aware of on this are a push-pull to split the coils of the humbuckers. Obviously this won't do anything with the P90, but it will split the humbuckers, which is very cool, and it means that you have that functionality which some people may be apprehensive about when it comes to the Guitar X system. It's built in down here with our tone control. We have a three-way switch which gives us bridge, both pickups and neck, whichever pickup you happen to have installed. We've got a master volume, a master tone control. We also have this very solid 6-saddle bridge. Very, very simple design, but very, very solid. It feels super comfy under the hand. There's no sharp bits, which makes me happy because I don't like when bridges have things sticking out of them. Just kind of grinds my gears. I wish people wouldn't do that, but this particular guitar, very, very smooth under the hand, and the tuning stability is excellent. Now, in terms of the pickups themselves, we're going to do a little run of the tones that are available, and we'll do this using the 3 pickups that we have in our Guitar X switching system. So we're going to be doing some combination of clean, dirty, and lead with each of the pickups that comes with this guitar, so you can hear what difference it makes, because you may be asking yourself, well, how much difference is it really going to make if I'm switching pickups? Well, you can decide for yourself. So we'll do the same line with the same tone, play clean and play dirty and play with a lead sound. For this, we'll be doing the JB, the Jazz, and the Guitar X P90 in both the bridge position and the neck position. We'll do it with a clean sound, we'll do it with the JCM 800, and we'll do it again with the lead sound, playing the same lines in each position, so you can see the influence of hot swapping these pickups on your tone. go, folks. That's been a look at the new Cream T Polaris from their LT range of guitars. These are, without question, the most affordable way to get into Cream T guitars, but specifically to get into the Guitar X ecosystem. And for me, this is such a game changer, man. I don't know why this isn't in every guitar. I'm sure people have their reasons, be it tradition, be it cost, be it whatever. But for me, this just makes so much sense because I'm forever swapping pickups and soldering is really annoying. So I'd rather not have to do that. I'd much rather have a collection of pickups mounted to these little plates and I can swap them around to my heart's content. And once again, depending upon the spec that you go for, you'll get a different set of pickups and some different trims too. So for example, the most affordable package, which is the Guitar X package, is only available in metallic black, but other finishes are available in the other spec, such as the mid-spec'd Seymour Duncan one that we're looking at here. Myself personally, I like the black, so I'd actually probably go for the most affordable version of this guitar because the actual instrument is the same. I like the way the black looks, and I'm probably going to change the pickups myself. So I would probably do that, save a little bit of money, and fit my favorite humbuckers to these plates. However, the highest spec also comes with a deluxe gig bag, which is a nice touch. So I'm kind of torn on that because the amount of money you'd spend on a good gig bag, it's probably the difference between the baseline spec and the most expensive spec anyway. So it's very cool that Cream T are offering these options so you can slot right in at the level that you want. Other things to be aware of on this is, for me, this is very much the working man's Cream T guitar. It is very much a Cream T in terms of feel and also in terms of the technology, but it's super affordable in terms of price compared to other Cream T instruments. It's actually pretty affordable compared to basically any guitar. So if you're looking for your first intermediate guitar, this is actually a really good choice. And additionally to this, it means if you get comfy with the guitar, you're not going to be worried about buying a different guitar to change your tone. So it's actually a little bit of an investment in the long run because you can buy a new set of pickups. You don't need to worry about soldering them in and out. If you want a different sound, you can just swap the pickups out. So it's very much kind of a take one guitar to the gig kind of instrument, which I think is very cool. Or if you were to have one guitar for the rest of your life and it was to be an affordable instrument like this would actually probably be a really, really good choice because of all the tones that you can get simply by adding pickups to your collection. So once again, folks, this has been a look at the Polaris from Cream T's new LT range of guitars. Go check this out. It is available at the time of this video's release. You're going to want to play one of these at your earliest convenience, I'm sure. My name's Nick Jennison, for Thinking About Guitar. I will see you next time.